Hi, welcome to the Pink House Mystery, Part 6. I've got a photograph taken of the Pink House by my father using Kodachrome, the color film of the day. This was taken in the mid-70s. And now let's get to the reading of Part 6. One day the motor developed a problem. It was taken for repair, but came back in a box to our deep dismay. There wasn't money for another one, so the boat was turned over for the season and set up a little off the ground on a few wood blocks in the grass. 1 year would turn into 2, and into 5, and into 10, and then that boat would not be used at all. A bit of us was lost at not going out on that boat. It was a part of life that ceased as we continued to grow up. We would go on to have our own boats too, and Brother Mark was proud to be the first to moor here south of the causeway. We all shared a well-used pram and a few runabouts with outboard engines as a highlight in contrast to the drudgery of mowing the lawn all the time. The boats are gone, save the original one. So many hours and not enough hours were spent on the river, and there was never enough money for 30 cents a gallon gasoline or oil for a 6-gallon tank. It's a knack to read the tide to get in and out of the creek, a few hundred feet behind the house. It'd be muddy most of the year, but in August the water ran clear. The way to get out was to know what time high tide was and to escape 2.5 hours before and come back 2.5 hours after. So you get to enjoy the full range of the tide and you're able to get in and out of the creek. Getting to the boat and getting underway was a bug endurance test, especially during high mosquito and greenhead season. They'd take a bite right out of you. Living there was something isolative, making it difficult to have friends, situated between the island and the mainland in a kind of limbo. Joppy to the north, marshes to the east, south, and west. Education was encouraged. There was church, and books and music helped fill the gaps. Now the years have become decades gone by, and the motor on Dad's boat is long gone. The boat's hull has sagged and her back was broken from the advance of time and gravity. Barely any hull paint will be visible if you find her. It will be sanded off by the wind and taller grass surrounding her. The amidships section were held together by a tie rod, gunnel to gunnel, installed by Lowell's Boatyard in Amesbury, to prevent the outward splay of her hull. Her transom is well split side to side with a bilge drain sticking out of her stern. There's part of her starboard side missing, a result of 4 short cedar planks being removed. Those planks are now refinished and presented with her original hull letters and numbers, presented to the honorable members of her remaining original crew in nautical tradition. Our boat she rests behind the house to the east and set back covered with grass, maybe a slight rise in the flat surrounding growth. You might find it still melting into the marshes like my dad's ashes that have settled nearby. It's where some of his ashes were solemnly spread with sentiment on a high spring tide with honorable words. And so one of us has a resting spot there until the Lord calls us anyway. Thanks for listening. I'm Bruce Stott. Come back next week for part 7 on Wednesday. Bye for now.